Well, the thing that happened to my dog is something that I never wanted to happen to my dog, but it was unavoidable. It happened. And what are we going to do about it? Let me tell you the story. I have a 2-year-old boxer. Her name is Elspeth Tassioni. If you watch TV, you might know what show this is from. But Elspeth is the most energetic, spunky, fun party girl out of all the dogs that I have. Yeah, she's a boxer, but I have other boxers, and she is by far the most energetic and the most fun. So naturally, she would be playing and then come in limping. There was no great incident that happened. There was no sudden moment that I knew that she was going to be lame. She came in like she always does after playing, and then I started to see the limp. And it went away if she was sleeping. She'd get up from a nap, it would go away, but then she'd be back to limping. And this went on and off and on and off for a couple of weeks. And I decided that I would give her lots and lots of rest, but it would come back every single time. And I thought, we just need to get a vet check. Turns out she did have a tear. She had a full tear in her knee. And so surgery was going to be imminent. And because she is the most energetic boxer that I have, I thought, oh my goodness, getting her to rehab for 8 to 12 weeks, this is going to be miserable because the surgery requires that she stay calm, she stays quiet, she doesn't disrupt the surgery site at all. There's going to be screws and plates in that knee. How am I going to keep her quiet during all of this? And I wanted to show you what I started to do to activate her brain, to get her tired through her brain, that mental stimulation, because I couldn't do it physically. I couldn't. She had to stay quiet. So this is what I did to keep her quiet during her rehab, during her healing period from her TPLO surgery. I'm taking a page out of the Nosework Trials workbook. When you do Nosework Trials, you're going to be searching for birch, anise, and clove. So I decided to take one of those, and I'm going to have Elspeth find where that scent is. So I really like doTERRA. It's important to me that it's a natural scent, that it's not synthetic. Again, I'm really careful about what goes into Elspeth's body, and so I am connected to doTERRA, and they did have birch, so I ordered some birch. You don't have to order birch if you're going to do this activity. They can find keys. You could go and buy just a blank key from your local hardware store, carry that around in your pocket for a while, and have your dog find the key. That has your scent on it. So you can get really creative about what they're going to find. I just decided I have access to birch and it's natural. I'm going to use this. So first I got my oil, and then what I do is I put it on the end of a Q-tip. And I am not really sciencey about this. I'm not having Elspeth, I can't even get it out of here. I'm not having her compete in a trial. It's just for my home use. So I'm not using tweezers or anything like that, that if I was training for competition, I'd be very careful about what my scent was on. So I just get a Q-tip, I cut it down so it's going to fit in my container. This little container I got at a craft store. It's just a little metal container. I do suggest if you're using oils, you use a metal container and you don't use plastic. That oil can eat through the plastic. So use metal. I have a drill and I just drilled some holes in the top. You can get them with holes in the top if you do a search. I was just doing this quickly, so I grabbed what I found. I knew I had a drill, and so I just drilled a couple holes in the top. This doesn't have to be fancy to be effective. The dogs don't care. So what I do is I just took my metal container and I took my birch and I put it on the Q-tip. The Q-tip just goes in the container and I close the lid. So I close the lid. And then what I do is I need to have Elspeth associate that if she points her nose towards this can, she gets a cookie. And anytime that I'm going to come out with something, she's naturally going to look at it. That is my first opportunity to mark her, say yes, and then reward her with a cookie. Here's the start. You can see her in action with just the Q-tip with the scent on it in the tin. That's how I start. Very simple. Here's a video. Yes. 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 The next thing that I got was a container to put the scent in. What I want to do is build up how many containers I have. One will have the scent in it and the others will not have the scent in it. So what I do is I take my scent and I put it in my container, but the lid is open. And I just use this one. Now I got fancy and I got a box. I got a couple in a pack, so all the boxes look the same. You can use some Amazon boxes. If you order something, just keep the box. Use any kind of container. Basically, I want a container that's solid, that she cannot see what's in it, because this is the only box that has the container, and I want her to alert on the scent, not a visual mark that I see the container. So I put the container in the box and the lid is open. Here's how I train it. Yes. 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 Then once my dog is alerting on the open box with the can inside, I then close my box. She cannot see the tin, and I train with just one box. Very simple, just the lid is closed. You can watch it here. There's nothing there. Yes. 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 Good girl. And whether or not your dog had knee surgery or is healing from a spay or a neuter or another kind of surgery, if it's rainy out, if you just don't feel like putting on your shoes and you just want to work on the floor in your house in your pajamas, do it. You can play this game indoors. It's not just for rehabbing from a surgery. Anytime you stimulate them mentally, your dog is going to be happier. So if you have an energetic dog or a dog who likes to work, this is a great game to start playing. You can play with any dog. You can play in any space, with any scent, with any item. Just follow these rules, follow along, and your dog is going to progress and they will be so happy. You can tire a dog out faster mentally than you ever could physically. So remember that. If your dog has a little extra energy in the tank, start putting in your nosework stuff. Start playing this game, and they're going to want to take a nap afterwards. I hope you got a great idea of a game to play with your dog. You can follow along Elsbeth's journey and everything that I prepared for her before surgery, and what happened as it progressed, what I was doing, the things that I purchased, the things that I did, because I wanted to make this the most successful surgery. So you can go to my website and you can follow along in the blog section. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe to help these baby businesses out. I appreciate you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.